Hey,
Yeah,
it's kind of live here. Snuck up on me again. Hey, it's who am I again? Yeah, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players, and as you probably know, since apparently we've been doing this for the last 16, almost 17 years,
Yeah,
we're bringing that, whatever that is.
we're raising Arizona.
Well,
You
I'm
remember that was
not.
a movie? That was a
Yeah,
movie.
Nicholas Rage.
Yeah, and that's right.
I don't
Raising,
recall watching. Didn't it win some kind of award or something?
yeah, I think he won some sort of Oscar for it. I don't think it was
Really?
his acting. I don't know if he won it. The movie did.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I watched it, but it had something to do with I think with a kid, but I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe the kid's name was Arizona or
Yeah,
something.
I think so actually.
Nah, I'm sure it was a good movie back in the whatever 90s, whatever it was.
Don't even remember. It was 2009, clearly.
So they've been bringing the Arizona as long as we've been bringing the Az.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, we are glad to be back. Our regular time last week, we had a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that one went really, really well. I think aside from all the usual AI stuff, the thing that I just found the most intriguing, I guess, was the disappearance of the UI.
Yeah, that because it's that started with the investor panel,
Right.
and then it kind of made its appearance, kind of weaved its way in and out the rest.
Yeah, and it was just I honestly that was I never even thought of. I mean, I thought there would be changes to how people interact with things, but I didn't think of it as an invisible UI or disappearance of UI. And I'm still not 100% sold on UI disappearing. I don't even see how. I mean, even if you're having a conversation with an AI, that's still a UI, one
Well,
way or the other. It's a
didn't
user interface.
didn't John Tashik kind of explain it like that?
Yeah,
Like the invisible part is the agents that are going to
right.
be doing a lot of stuff, and then there's still going to be some need for some kind of interface.
Yeah, it's a communications layer. I mean, that's what really a UI is going to be, one way or the other. Maybe that's what'll happen. Maybe is it'll go from a navigation layer to a communications layer, if you know what I mean. Because right now, UI is how we use our mouse and keyboard and whatever else, and our voices and a variety of things to interact with a program of some kind. But but really, ultimately, if you're using conversational AI, the conversational part is communications, and maybe it becomes much more of a communications layer than, and actually probably more delimited, meaning to the actual voice interaction, or no, I don't know, because you're still typing potentially for prompts and things like that. I don't really know, but that intrigued the hell out of me, though, I have to say.
Yeah, and if you want to check that out, the we have all 2 days. You could go to the live stream over on our YouTube channel, or if you like to try to digest things in smaller chunks, we're putting out the clips, and we're also sharing some of the transcripts from those. I mean, because we had like 5 hours of some really good discussions, and so it's kind of hard to make everything in one big. I was going to say one big dump, but that just didn't really sound good.
Dude, that sounds as good as bringing the ass.
Well, you could kind of no,
No, don't even go there.
But no, so we're dripping them out. You'll see them on LinkedIn, but also if you want to check out some of the transcripts and I'm using Gemini to kind of analyze and summarize and whatever eyes you can think of, to make it a little easier to read if you want to read. So you go over to destinationcrm.com and you'll see we just dropped one a little earlier this week, but we're gonna tons more because there was just so much going on, so many great conversations, and we want to make sure we give a lot of space for those things to get out there and for everybody to check it out. But one thing we're not checking out today is moment of spin.
I know. I noticed that too. When he did it last week, we didn't need it. We couldn't use it because it was the what is CRM 2026. Now we need him desperately, and he's not here.
Well, I might know why if what the message I just got on StreamYard is correct, and I'm checking to see if it is correct. Come on. Apparently, it's not. It's not streaming to StreamYard. That's
what
it looks like there's some kind of issue
with StreamYard.
Yeah, look. Well, I don't know if it's StreamYard or LinkedIn, but it doesn't look like it is streaming over to our LinkedIn, my LinkedIn page. And then I got a message that said it's not streaming to LinkedIn.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I'll check yours too.
Yeah.
But that would make sense, I guess.
Yeah, I was wondering why we saw nothing, which is unusual, especially given who our guest is. Well, wait. This is. Hold on.
I think that was last week. Oh, no, it says 5 minutes ago. It's really weird how yours is showing up.
Yeah.
Now, that makes absolutely no sense. I don't know what to do about that.
Well, the only thing, I got it started. Like I had to start it.
No, I can see. I can see it on your and
no, I did. I went on too, and I did see it. It's just I had to auto start it to see it. I auto start.
No, it's showing up. You just push the button to actually see.
Oh, there's Sven. He says someone there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to see what's going. And now he's. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So apparently Sven is maybe it's showing up now on.
Yeah, why don't you
my
check
page
on your side?
Let me go back to my page here. Gotta love the technical difficulties. At least we didn't have them last week. That would have been pretty ugly.
Hopefully we won't have them today. We can always direct people over to my page if we have to. Yep.
Well, you're showing it. Yeah. For whatever reason, it is not showing up.
Sven? Well, he won't know.
Well, but then he left it. Hey, he might just have commented and not actually able to see anything. What's weird is it's saying it's pre-live.
Look at Pete though. It's coming in.
Let's see what Pete is saying. I had to try several times to get LinkedIn to start, but that is so interesting because it's not working on mine. Maybe I have to keep refreshing on mine.
I'll check yours from mine, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, because on mine it's still not showing up, which is really kind of ridiculous. But yet and still, Pete says he could see it.
Yeah.
And is he seeing it from you or me? Let's see.
I don't know.
Oh, he's over on your page because I can see the little.
Yeah, on your page, I see only the pre-announcement.
Yeah, so it looks like now the Brohammer is saying he can see it. So what is this? Some kind of thing where the host can't see it now? What the hell? StreamYard, you're just a mess.
Well, is Brohammer on my page?
It looks like he's on mine because I don't see the little paperclip thing that says that he's watching it from a guest share. That is really weird. Yeah, just to let us know, John, if you could say, are you watching it from Paul's LinkedIn page, my LinkedIn page, or somewhere else like YouTube or something? Just let us know. Because I don't know. It's not showing up on mine, but people are saying they're seeing it. Just let us know if you're seeing it from Paul's page or my page. That would be really helpful because I don't know how you're seeing it from my page unless I'm getting punked or something. But
I just went to your page and put a message on going to my page to look.
Okay. That is really weird. I guess we just keep going forward, but that never happened before.
No, well, StreamYard for you.
But I'm guessing I'll just take a quick look over at YouTube just to make sure it's on the PPN YouTube page. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, there's not a whole.
Well, one thing we could try, although it would break the show for a few minutes, is go out and come back in.
Nah, it's going to your page, so I don't know what I don't know why it's not going to my page, but that is just really weird because it's showing up as I am connected, and it says I am live on my LinkedIn page, but I'm definitely not. So that is kind of weird. Anyway, we're just gonna have to keep going. Hopefully, it'll start. Well, some people seem to be showing up.
Well, I'm sending notes to Sven on your page to go to my page, but he keeps staying on your page, so I'm not sure.
You send him a direct message.
Okay.
Yeah, because he sent one to me.
Now he said what? Yeah.
Okay, so the Brohammer is on the scene. So
yeah, Brohammer is hanging on. Oh
yeah, go ahead and just let him know. And I wonder if it's showing up also on Bob's page, because Bob shared it. Let me just take a quick look over at Bob's page and see if it's showing up over there. And then we'll just have to get going. Yeah, this is like the death nail for StreamYard here. Yeah, it's saying the same thing it's saying on pre-live.
It's working on mine.
I have no idea.
Because I was a guest.
Yeah, but it should work on mine too. Sven is such a interesting guy. All right. Anyway, I don't know what else we can do. So
yeah, well, Sven, that's the way.
Just go over to Paul's page and watch it.
He keeps saying
saying what?
I don't know where he's commenting the things I'm seeing. Yeah. Oh,
he's on. I think he's on my page commenting.
Yeah. Well,
but you can't see anything. You can just comment. And apparently, you can't see it on Bob's share. It's saying the same thing pre-live. I think when he joins us, maybe we can stream it over to him, and just in case. But anyway, we might as well just go ahead and get started. I don't know what else to say, but if you are watching from Paul's, that's great. And if you want to watch, go over to Paul's page, because he's able to, for whatever reason. I don't know why I can't stream to mine while you can stream to yours, but that's another StreamYard-ism thing, I guess. Let's see, what is it saying? Oh, he's like, go ahead. We're just gonna power through here. So, all right, let's do that. And John just streamed it, put a comment up, letting people know where to stream it from. I guess I should try to do that too.
I just did it. I just wrote everyone in caps. Go to Paul Greenberg page and watch from there. StreamYard issue from here.
Yep, that is so weird. I don't think that has ever happened before, where it's literally not able to stream to where it's supposed to, but you're able to stream it from your share.
Yeah,
that's a new one.
It's a StreamYard for you. They're too busy making everything vertical.
Oh, and now Bob Fagel is trying to find it.
All right. Well, I mean, if they go to your page, there's like 20 different references to go to my page. It's not much more.
I wonder if I can reshare your. Let me try that.
All right.
Let me see if I can share your share of my page back to my page. And see if that'll actually work.
That might be interesting.
To be just ridiculous. Let's see. Show all posts. And now repost. Okay. Repost instantly. Now it says it did it. All right. Now I'll go back to my page. If this works, this is gonna be crazy.
It should work. There's no reason why it wouldn't. because that's a LinkedIn thing.
And there it is.
Yeah, it's not a StreamYard thing. It's a LinkedIn thing.
That is really weird.
All right, well, let's leave it then. Now that people
right.
see it on both places, with yours, they'll see it peripherally.
And I'll make sure it's featured posts. So
right, there you go. That'll do it. The
I
comments will just be coming through on my page, but they'll show up here anyway. So
I wonder why it won't let me make this the featured post. That's really weird.
maybe because it's a repost.
Maybe. I mean, I guess so. Anyway.
All right.
That's at the top of my page.
All right.
All right, folks. We are very sorry. Or actually, we're not sorry. StreamYard ought to be sorry. We're not. We didn't do anything wrong.
We're look, guys. We're done with StreamYard. I mean, and we'll let StreamYard know we're done with them because they've gone from very viable platform for us to start out to terrible, right? So, yeah, what can I say?
Yeah, that one makes no sense if you can see it from one page and not another. That
it has something to do with guest status versus host status, I guess.
Thank you, Brohammer. And Bob is answering the moment is Finn. Wait a minute.
He did.
Is he actually answering in Croatian?
No, probably, yeah. And I think he's right too. That's the thing.
All right,
right
Finn,
about.
Let us know who if wow, Bob is right, I guess this time.
I think he is. I think he's right. I think it's Croatian.
Look, but you are I don't think Finn was happy about Bob answering for you. Good riddance to.
What does that mean?
I didn't. I thought it was. Is it?
It's riddance, and he knows that the guy can spell.
Isn't it RIDDANCE? Actually,
yes,
like riddance.
It is. It's riddance, not riddance.
Well,
to who?
I don't know, but
I don't know. This is a great start to the show here.
It's been one hell of a show start. Yeah. Need to delete you from what is going on?
About Bob. He's talking about Bob.
This is all the why don't do that either. I mean,
he won't.
I didn't see any.
I'm pretty sure he's kidding.
I didn't see any smiley faces after that. We need some smiley faces, Finn.
Ben, I'm gonna go with Croatian though. I really am. I am too. It wasn't a bad bet. It's definitely a Slavic language of some kind, or I don't know if they call those Slavic, like Croatian, Serbian, Slovakian, Slovenian, Czech. It's one of those. Formerly Yugoslavian. But I would kind of lean to Croatian also.
All right. Well, all you guys are leaning. I do have one bit of housekeeping.
Okay.
Got it right. Okay. I don't know why I want to say housekeeping. Well, I'll tee this up for you.
Okay. All right. So this one is going to be, this is actually going to be a great overall show. Normally on December 18th, it's the third week. So today is the second week in December, and that's where Bob Stutz comes on his segment, the No BS with Bob Stutz, right? CRM Playaz third week is usually with Michael Wu, who of course you've seen a few times now on his AI stuff, and he also has the title of his speech, that IRL right now. But this becomes even more special because for the first time in after 20 years of attempting to do it, meaning we started attempting it 4 years before we were even existing as CRM Playaz, we began seeding it. I think, let's see, 20 years would be 2005. I met Brent 2003. Yeah, 2 years after we met each other, Brent and I said, you know what? Someday if we have a show, let's get Steve Miranda on here. And we started then, right? And we finally got him to agree. I don't know, about a month ago. And they came up with the date, December 18th. And we are going to find out something about the person, Steve Miranda, as well as the incredible executive leader that he has been at Oracle with all their Fusion products, which, by the way, at this point are pretty outstanding, at least the ones I've seen. Yeah. So this is so exciting to have him. And the other thing with Steve, the one thing you do know from the conversations we have had at Open Cloud AI World, right? At Open Cloud AI World he's a really good guy, like a really, really good guy. Just a
Yes, he is.
good guy.
But
And he
we
has a sense of humor.
basically, but we just have really, we don't have an in-depth understanding of how good a guy is, because literally we only talk to him about 20 minutes out of the year, and even that is split with about 10 other people. So we don't really we don't know how good a guy. We expect to find out that. And before we move on, this all came about, I think, from the help of two people. One, our buddy over at Oracle, Kim Guion, one of the most creative minds we've ever come across in this space. The
Brilliant.
one who wanted to try to get us tattooed, but we had to, kind of slow her roll on that.
Let's say it was one of her lesser creative ideas.
But the most creative idea I've ever come across in our industry is the rap battle between Jeff Wartgow and Steve. What's Steve's last name? Fioretti. Yeah. Two guys who absolutely should not be holding a mic to rap anything. They shouldn't even rap presents at this point in time. So it was her idea, and we had a ball doing it.
Oh my God.
We had a ball doing the mercy killing about halfway through.
Brent was the mercy killer. What was the name? And it was the
group,
wasn't it?
It was a fitting the song. It was the instrumental to the song by EPMD, Your Customer.
Right. And that was Brent picked out the music, and he was the host. My entire contribution to this is hysterical laughter listening to it.
By the way, now the second person that we got to thank that made this possible. He's right there, John Reed.
Oh yeah,
aka the Brohammer. So we had been trying to get Steve Miranda on, and we just started like saying, hey, just using the show to say, why doesn't he like us? Why won't he come on with us? And John, who I guess has been talking to him, and doing interviews and talking, he put a little bug in his ear, said, you know what, these CRM players, they ain't bad. And he said, and he found out that Steve actually did listen to us.
Yeah, well, we kind of knew he did. I mean, he'd been, but what John did was that it was that bug in his ear. He basically got Steve thinking about it, like, well, maybe I should, and John was, well, Brohammer, what more can you say, right? So he, between him and Kim, they did it. And look, the one thing I knew I know we're going to love this interview with Steve is because he referred to us in one of his comments about the watch party as Mystery Science Theater 3000 like. And that meant he got it. He got the exact idea of the watch party. And the first person outside of our conversations about it to figure that out without very help was him.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was very good.
So yeah, next Thursday, 3 to 4 Eastern, as usual.
And thank you, Kim, and thank you, John.
Yeah, thank Kim. And then we did our part by begging.
Well, it was shaming,
basing ourselves.
We were shaming him into it.
It was pretty ugly.
Pretty bad.
But at least it worked. So as long as it all worked, that was it. And John said, after I talked with him, I got him to watch the watch party. Oh,
that was a big deal. Right. That did it.
All right. Now, usually I had something queued up, but we don't really have time to do it. But I'll just show you what I was going to let you kind of talk about. But maybe our guest, who's not really a guest at this point, our new segment feature will want to talk about this too. But I know you were really, really interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, first of all, if you remember way back when, Pandora was starting to just play music without attribution or payment to the musicians. They worked out a deal where there was, it's kind of royalty. There's a percentage of revenue payment went to the artist, and that was great. At a low level, it shifted the business model of digital music, right? This thing, what makes this even more important is that Disney, which of course, you might have problems with Disney, which I think we all do as far as, their actual humanity, but their brand is forget it. I mean, there's nothing like Disney's brand out there, and this deal changes the nature of the business model that's evolving around AI, because all the lawsuits and everything else. This is the beginning of that change where it just becomes part of the landscape, number one. So the business model changes. Number two, though, it also starts to change content creation, and even more so, or as much, content distribution, right? This is a really huge deal. Yes, it's in the B2C world. We're B2B guys, but the reality is this is amazing. Now, the guy where it was launched, where I found out about, was a friend of us, was a guy named Paul Greenberg. And I'm not, patting myself on the back, because it's a different Paul Greenberg, but he's been on the show before. He's the CEO of Butterworks. And I reposted it this morning, commented on it. He commented back about, I said, maybe we got to get him on a show to talk about this. He actually commented back saying he'd love to come on. So
damn,
it will be our guest to be talking about this. This will be an exceptionally good, he's a thought leader too. And again, I'm tooting the Paul Greenberg horns here, because there are a bunch of us who are all really smart people. Okay. So, well, I'm just coattailing it here.
Right? On behalf of all the Paul Greenbergs in the world.
So watch for that show. It'll probably be right after the new year sometime. But pay attention. That is a huge deal.
You know what else is a huge deal?
Oh, no.
And now it's time for Stump the Godfather with the venerable Paul Greenberg.
It's still playing.
Brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot.
All right. We'll get rid of that. I really hate StreamYard at this point. All right. So we haven't done one of these in a while. We got a couple minutes. It's going to be a short one, but I think it's going to be a good one, considering what we talked about with the CRM magazine folks earlier today. Yep. So, and I've been all over. I've been really interested in this stuff. So the top hyperscalers, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Oracle combined have raised approximately blank million in debt just in 2025 alone to finance their AI data center build-outs. Just now, what is that? 5 companies? 5 companies just this year, and this is just the debt financing aspects. This isn't the total amount of money that they're committing to this. This is just what they borrowed just this year alone for their AI data center build-outs in the billions of dollars.
And this is just for the AI data centers, not for the other parts like R&D.
This is just AI stuff. All AI.
No, AI, it's AI data centers.
No, it's AI. It's all the infrastructure, baby. Don't get too caught. It's everything that they're building in order to do the AI, the have the AI out there for all these other companies to use. That's it. It's everything around their AI infrastructure stuff.
So it's more than data centers.
Let's just go with it. All right. So how much is that just this year alone that they raised in debt financing?
I have an idea in my head.
All right. Oh, look, Spin is jumping out there. Spin is out there. $395 billion that they have raised for debt financing for their AI.
Basically, they borrowed. That's really what it means.
Well, that's debt financing, yes.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Raise isn't really the right word there. It's not for them. It's not.
Well, they're going out and either they're raising it in terms of begging. No, I shouldn't say begging. It's not they're coming from their earnings. It's not coming from their wallet.
Oh, I get what it is.
All right. $395 billion is what Finn is saying. Anybody else out there? In our guests in the green room, if you want to throw a guest out there and we'll pop it out from the private chat, let us know. Alan Berkson, $275 billion. Man, that's we're just talking about this year alone. These are some pretty substantial guesses here.
I'm going higher.
Okay. All right. Anybody out? Brohammer, if you got a guess, let us know. Bob Fagel, if you got one. And like I said, if our not guest, our new segment feature person, everybody knows who he is. I don't know why I'm just drawing it out. But, if you want to take a guess, put it in the private chat. We'll let people know what your guess is too. What is John saying? Paul exponential Paul. Yeah. Okay.
No, it would be clones just like Ray, but these are actual Paul Greenbergs, and they look different too.
All right. What's your guess?
432 billion.
432 but
yeah, that's completely random.
I know that's kind of interesting number to throw out there. So we got 395 from Sven, we got 275 from Alan, and what did you say? 432?
432. I could
432.
Yeah.
Michael Klein says 500 billion. Yeah. So he's the high watermark.
Yep.
So far.
Ooh, that was so Delawarean what you just said. You said watermark.
That's something that's only Delaware?
No, Delaware and parts of Maryland, they say it that way too.
Oh, okay.
Water, liquid helium. And water.
Look at Pete's guess. 100 million billion.
$1 trillion.
All right. So
$1 zillion. $1 zillion.
All right, let's go. I think we got enough guesses in. So it ranges from 275 all the way up to whatever Pete just wrote. I don't even know what
Pete's was $1 trillion.
Is that what $100 million billion? I don't think so.
A little more. $1 1,000 billion. So this would be a quadrillion.
All right, let's do this. All right. So the actual answer to what the combined hyperscalers, all 5 of them, raised just this year alone in debt financing to build out their AI data center, the actual number is 120. You guys are you guys are really, really high there. That's a lot. And this is just the money they raised this year. Not to say that's the total amount of debt financing going to do, because I'm sure they're going to go back for some more money next year. But this is just this year.
That's 5. So it's 20 billion a piece. 20.
Well, actually,
it would be about 25 billion each.
Yeah, but it's not, because like companies like Microsoft they're actually mostly financing it through their own cash stream. Oracle is the one that is using the most debt.
How much of that? How much is Oracle?
I think they're around 15 or 18 billion.
Wait, that's impossible. If that's 15 times, even 18 times 5 would only be 90.
No, No, but they couldn't be if they were the highest.
The
latest round is, according to their earnings, is like they just did another round of like 18 billion. All right.
Oh, that's the latest round of debt financing.
But the total for the year,
for Oracle,
is 100. Well, overall is 121.
I know. I'm trying to figure out who's of the 5 in the year.
Actually, some of these guys are spending way more, but they're using their own cash to spend.
I get it. I'm just looking at who has incurred the most debt to do it.
Percentage-wise, it's Oracle in terms of the percentage of money they are putting on their own versus how much they're financing the debt. That's why they got killed last night in their earnings call, because the percentage of the money they've committed to building out their infrastructure, a big percentage of a very significant percentage of it is debt financed, whereas Microsoft has put out a huge amount, but a lot of that is coming from their own cash reserves.
I know, I understand that. My question though is there's 5 of them there. Some of them have raised more debt, done more debt financing than others. Who over the year, which one has done the most, and how much?
Well, it also depends on, like, if you're looking at just numbers versus percentage of overall money they've committed, because that's what the financial investing community is looking at.
I'm just looking at numbers. Great numbers.
Like Microsoft is spending way more, but most of it is coming from.
That's fine.
Cash.
I'm not looking at total spend. I'm looking at if somebody spends 40 billion or raises 40 billion for debt financing, that's more than 30 billion, regardless of what percentage it is. I don't care. I'm just trying to figure out.
I don't know who dollar wise is doing it, but
me and AI will talk about that.
Yeah, because most of the financial analyst community, they're looking at how much of this you've committed 500 billion to building out your thing. If 400 billion is coming from your cash and you're still spending 100 billion, but you're putting most of your own money into this versus using other people's money. I think what the Oracle challenge and why they're down like 12% today is they're getting more of their money that they committed to this build out from debt financing than from their own cash. So that's why they're getting killed. Anyway, that was an interesting one. Or was it an interesting one?
It was pretty interesting. I still curious. I mean, I'm not shocked particularly.
You know what's shocking?
What?
What we're going to do next.
Okay.
Which is, you need to, is it introduce or reintroduce?
I'll reintroduce.
Because it's not like he's not
now,
new, you know. He's
but I'm happy to do it.
You need to, because this is it's although he's not new to us or to anybody else out there, it's a new segment for him and us. I think that deserves an introduction.
I think you're right. All right. So, as many of you know, the CRM industry has been around for, I don't know, since the 90s, basically. And there are people who were participant in it, and there were people who created it. And the gentleman who we have on the show today is one of the creators. In fact, you could arguably say that if he hadn't built what he built when it came to CRM technology, there would be no CRM industry. And that's actually a reasonable argument. This individual has been basically a legend in the, and more than just CRM, the enterprise technology world, really broadly, for decades now. He's known not just for what he has done and built. And, you know, one of the things about him that always amazed me is he would go to a company and say, I will do this in this period of time, and then I'm done. And he would do this, whatever this was, in that period of time, and then he was done. No matter how much the company said, oh, no, why don't you do this and this and this? He said, no, I said I'm going to do this in this period of time, and I will do it. And he does not fail, and never did. So I've known him for, I knew him a little bit when he was running SAP CRM back in 2007. And the interesting thing, just to give you an indicator, SAP CRM prior to this was shelfware. It was fake, actually. It was vaporware, really. But I remember they came out with a product called SAP CRM 2007. And it kind of looked Google-like. I remember the interface was Google-like, which is actually a big deal back then, especially for an enterprise-grade on-premise product at the time, right? Of any kind, any CRM product was all that. And this had a really good interface. It had real substance. And I remember writing about it without knowing who had created it, particularly other than it was Bob Stutz, who, of course, is our guest. I didn't know him much, but I wrote really positively about it because I thought, this is amazing. I mean, they're going to nail it. And Bob has had that kind of career, constant historic success since. The other thing he's known for is, let's say, his exceptionally strong but well-founded opinions on things. But keep in mind, look, I know people who have exceptionally strong opinions, but have nothing to back it up. This guy,
or they're just flat out bad.
Right. They're stupid opinions. This guy, he's got the history, he's got the experience, he's got the knowledge, he's got the thought leadership capability, all of it. And he's very trusted throughout the industry because he's always been a man of his word. And he's always been exceptionally fair to those who he worked with, even though, he could be tough. But the work got done. The people got justifiably rewarded for what they did. And he was an exceptionally loyal and big-hearted human being, too. So we're starting a segment as of today, which means the second Thursday. I forgot the day already. Yeah, but that's what happens when you deal with contractors and you deal with the debt financing. The second Thursday of every month, and it's called No BS with Bob Stutz. So let's bring on the boss man himself, Bob Stutz.
It's our very first no BS Thursday here at CRM Playaz.
Yeah, the man.
There he is.
There's the hat.
Got that. Yeah, you got the Bills hat on there.
Hey, my team is on a comeback.
They are. They are. What are they, like 9-4 now?
9-4.
9-4.
Yeah, but here's my question. What do you actually think their chances are?
I still think they're pretty good. It depends,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Giants.
The good thing is their nemesis, Kansas City, is no longer in the playoffs. Right?
They're not even a blip anymore. 6-6 sucks.
So there's hope. There's as much as I hate the New England Patriots, I have to say
what a shock.
It's pretty amazing what a new coach can do.
Yep.
Right.
New coach with a young, smart quarterback.
You guys got a big game coming up, right? Against them again, right?
Sunday. It's a big one.
It's a big one. All right.
You can beat them. My team is 2-11, and we were horrible that game. But I actually went into it thinking, you never know with this team. We have a shot at it because everyone's so excited about our quarterback. So, we'll see.
Yeah, the problem was the quarterback's great, but you lost your key running back, which is
our key receiver.
And the key receiver.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have a horrible coach and a horrible interim coach. So,
I don't think you're going to have them for long.
No. We're going to get Mike McCarthy. I'm guessing it's going to end up with him.
All right. So this is really cool because we've started one with Michael Wu. It's been great. And I just like the fact that we get a chance to talk with you monthly, pick your brain on stuff, or just sit back and listen to whatever the hell you want to talk about. That's the other way we could go with this too. So were you surprised at the numbers that we were just talking about with the debt financing going on with all the hyperscalers trying to build out all this AI infrastructure?
No, I mean, look, what does it take, right? It takes a lot of money. And if you look at just the energy infrastructure alone to support these data centers that are going up, it's unbelievable, right? We went from saving the climate to killing the climate again.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give Oracle a little credit on what they're trying to do with that, but you're right.
Yeah, it always sounds nice, but the reality is they'll end up polluting the freaking rivers. They'll end up, I mean, look, the heat from those things is just tremendous, right? I mean, they've done studies that are showing now. Look, it's one of those things, right? It's got to get done. There's no efficient way to do it. And it's going to cost. And, I think some companies are in better shape. Microsoft has a ton of cash in the bank. They don't have to take so much in debt financing to go into it. Others are going to have to take tons of, just billions upon billions of dollars in order to stay competitive. Right. And that's where, I think, it's an interesting dilemma that all these companies have, but the demand for AI is not going to go away. That's for darn sure.
Yep.
Right. And, and AI has made a lot of progress, right? I mean, we hear all this bust stuff all the time, but, the reality is AI is a technology at the end of the day. It's not going to bust. What's busting is the fucking expectations that people have on AI at the end of the day, right? That's the bust, right? The expectations are too high for where it's at in its cycle right now. But that also depends on what you're talking about, right? If you look at medicine and the advances that AI has done in medicine, it's unbelievable, right? And in certain industries, you can see the advances have just, it's just unbelievable what's happening, right? But in enterprise software, I think we're still in the infant testing phase. We're not even out of that yet, right? And I think we're not going to get out of it anytime soon. I do think this is going to be a long, slow process, and the reason for that is I really do believe that, I've been reading all this stuff lately in these interviews with people and everybody talking about, oh, the reason AI isn't getting put in is it's a leadership failure. That's just fucking bullshit at the end of the day. It has nothing to do with leadership. The fact of the matter is it doesn't work. And the fact of the matter is you're trying to force a modern, new, cool technology into 20-plus-year-old freaking platforms that are at the end of their life cycle. And all you're trying to do is put lipstick on the pig to make these things look better, calling it AI. But the reality is we're not in an era of where you would say AI is the new tech and what's gonna replace it, right? Everybody keeps saying, Satya Nadella says, oh, SaaS is dead. Well, SaaS has been dead for a long time. Let's be clear. Can anybody show me anything that's really SaaS in this day and age? Every one of these legacy software companies have taken on-prem software, put it in the cloud, and called it SaaS. It's the reality, right? It's not true SaaS, right? What is dead in this new day and age is the subscription tax. Because that's what actually, this was all about subscription, right? This was never about building better software. Software as a service was a great concept, but it just got convoluted like everything else does in tech over the years, right? And why does that happen? Because big software companies, they really can't afford to make that switch. It's too expensive. You look at companies like SAP. What do? They just keep taking on-prem software, putting it in the cloud, and calling it SaaS.
Yeah.
And charge a subscription for it, right? And it's been the same with a lot of the legacy software companies, Oracle, all of them, right? They've all done the same thing, right? And so SaaS isn't dead. SaaS, I don't even know if you want to call it SaaS, because the majority of those things in the cloud are just hosted instances in the cloud. It's not even really true SaaS. I mean, there are some really good true SaaS products out there, but those are the exception, actually, to be quite honest.
What would be a product like that you would actually call that, so someone had like a reference point, a marker to say, okay, this is a good one?
Well, born in the cloud from the beginning, right? Built and born in the cloud, right? Not something that was ported over from on-prem software, right? I mean, look, for all its faults, Salesforce you could really truly say is really one of the few true SaaS products, right? But even over the years, they sort of, they went away from their no software mantra to, actually having real software, right? But I mean, if you look at companies that, there's some, I would say, some younger companies that have, were born in the cloud. Everything was done right from the beginning. But a lot of the big tech companies, it was legacy stuff that they ported over into the cloud, right? And so it's really not SaaS, right? To be, it's not fair to say that. And by the way, is it ever going to go away? I mean, just think of all those ERP implementations, right? It'll be generations before you see that stuff go away. It's never going to go, right? It's going to be there forever and ever, right? And I think people get wrapped up in all these nice little things they want to say, like SaaS is dead and SaaS is going away. But I do believe what is going away is this freaking tax, this subscription tax, which has ripped off companies left and right over the years, right? Paying for a subscription and not paying for actual usage. And I think that's the shift in AI, is that you're going to pay, it's going to be consumption based, right? It's all going to be, it's going to be like a meter, right? You're paying on the meter at the end of the day.
Yeah. But the thing that it feels like, going back to the early days of SaaS with Salesforce and I guess NetSuite, and what was the other one that right now, and SalesNet and all those kind of companies?
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of them, right?
Yeah. But the thing that I think, once people, let's say, felt comfortable, they saw the business reason for switching is, we don't want to maintain all this stuff. and we don't want to have to, have people on board and continually having to, do all sorts of crazy stuff just to make this stuff work. When you can, the proposition was, we'll take care of all that stuff. You just have to use it. That made people want to go and do it. The AI thing, it feels like it's hard. It's harder for people to grasp it, because it's harder for even the vendors to understand the best way to approach the market and create a business model that makes sense for the customer as well as them. Whereas at least with the SaaS switch back 25 years ago, once people got the feeling that their data was safe, it was a bum rush, because they didn't want to have to handle all this kind of crazy stuff back in the day.
No, but if you remember though, the original premise of SaaS was you had this beautiful software in the cloud that you weren't going to have to maintain and you weren't going to have to pay maintenance on. Well, that didn't fucking last very long, did it? Because every single vendor out there started charging, maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the price kept going up for everything that they added on top of
kept going up, right? Yeah. Every time something a little new came out, there was another add-on price, right? And so what started out nice is, oh yeah, I can get this nice SFA subscription for $39.95 a month, ended up being, $1,500 a month by the time it was done, right? And so that's what I'm saying, the whole concept of SaaS just got convoluted over the way, right?
Well, it actually goes to the heart of what you were saying earlier too. Like on the business, on the payment model, I'll call it for the sake of it, because I was just thinking about it. So I use Claude, and I have an annual subscription to Claude, and it costs $200. However, Claude is actually usage based. It's not really subscription based. I mean, for example, when I'm doing a fairly lengthy back and forth with Claude, basically it said up, your what amounts to 193,000 tokens are done. If you want to do, because it's as I'm using it, the tokens are being used up. And at a certain point, it's either says I'll reset at 1 p.m. and you'll have another 193,000, or if you want to continue this,
you're right. You're paying a subscription, but it's actually consumption based subscription.
Exactly, and that model does not work. It's just very annoying. Ultimately, is to be honest, but it is the consumption side is fine, but don't try to squeeze it into something it's not, which is what's actually happening.
Well, I do think the pricing models right now, I think everybody's having a hard time with how do you really price it at the end of the day, right? And how are you going to make it so that it's actually affordable?
That's the bottom line. Yeah.
We're at this infancy with it, and if you think about the usage, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, right? And as companies really do start to adopt to use this stuff, which, by the way, let's be clear, I think it'll happen, but I think right now there's some really serious problems, like this whole agentic model bullshit, right? Agent, right? But the reality is there's very few platforms that can actually do federated agents. Mm-hmm. This was the same problem that when SaaS first came about with the cloud, there were very few SaaS vendors that could do a federated model. And that has not that you're seeing the exact same problem happen with agents, because building federated agents is not a simple thing. And right now, I only know of 3 platforms that are capable, Google being one of them, that is capable of doing that. As far as I know, Salesforce is not capable of doing that. And most of the sort of commercial ones are not. So I do think this is going to be, the AI platform itself, to actually make this thing to be a so-called, agentic enterprise, as some vendor likes to call it, we're far away from that at the end of the day. We're not close there yet, right? I mean, I think, it's like anything else what happens, right? Some of these companies, they jump on this bandwagon, and then they really start to like the marketing hype, right? But it's actually what kills good technology at the end of the day, right? Because it puts these expectations on the technology, and it's just not there yet, right? But look, I do think that there's leaps and bounds every day in this stuff. I mean, I'm using this stuff every day, working with different products, testing them, and it blows my mind, like what you can do with this stuff, right? But there's limitations at the end of the day, right?
Last week, Larry Augustine basically said the exact same thing. You were like, he's been reinvigorated because the things he's always wanted to do in the past with applications and products, he couldn't do. Now he can do it. He says he can do it like on his own with everything. And that gives some kind of a positive view towards the future. But let's go back a little bit to these big enterprise application vendors. They got so much money at their disposal to not only to build a product, but a lot of it is spent on marketing and trying to, gain mind share and all that kind of stuff, that hopefully leading to big sales. Do you think part of the challenge that people have with AI is the overhype part of it? Yeah, they're still working out the platforms and the price. I think the pricing models are really the biggest challenge to a lot of these enterprise vendors for this stuff. But could they do a better job of not overselling and not overhyping? Because there's a lot of good stuff, like you were talking. There's a lot of good stuff that's already being done that can be done, but a lot of that is not the most exciting piece of the puzzle.
No, but that's the problem with our industry, right? We always overhype. Yeah. And we end up killing it, right? So let me just give you a few examples. If you can remember, I don't even know how many years ago it was, but there was the thing, banks decided at some juncture they didn't want branches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were going to force everybody to go to ATMs. And it was interesting. What happened? They did it. They shut branches. And what happened? People changed banks and they went to the banks that actually had branches. That's how these companies like Washington Mutual became so big, right? Because they put coffee machines in their branches, invited people in, right? What happened? All the banks switched back, right? They then opened up tons of branches because they realized people wanted human contact at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now we can go to the next example when a lot of these companies like the AT&Ts of the world and all the other big freaking rip-off cell phone companies decided they didn't want to pay minimum wage to call center people. So what did they do? They went to voice response systems. Yeah. That put you in endless loops.
That worked.
and that worked really well. And what happened? They went back and had to open up call centers again, right? Now we see this thing where Salesforce says they lay off 4,000 people. They don't need support people anymore because they have chatbots that can do all the support, which is bullshit. And we all know it is. And we all know what will happen eventually is customers will get pissed off and they'll go back and they'll hire these people back because customers don't want to talk to a chatbot when they have a problem with their freaking software product. They want to talk to a human body that can actually solve it for them. Yeah. Now, was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect with human bodies solving those problems either. But at the end of the day, I think we overreact. We do things in the industry too fast. We don't think it through. We sort of look at it from a financial perspective. Oh yeah, I get rid of 4,000 people and have, all these chatbots. Man, that saves me a ton of money at the end of the day. But what does it really save you in customer satisfaction? What does it really save you in your reputation of your company at the end of the day, right? Yeah. It doesn't, right? I mean, and that's the problem in the industry. We always overreact. Instead of taking it one step at a time and let it just mature the way it should, we try to force the maturity to a point where we do stupid things, right? And then we it's like all these layoffs lately, right? Where they're blaming it. Look, AI has nothing to do with AI. These layoffs, these were layoffs that were planned to course correct. It has nothing to do with AI at the end of the day. AI is just an excuse, right? Now it's become an excuse for a lot of things, right? Do I believe people will lose their jobs when AI finally gets to a point? Yes, but I think it's the software companies who can figure out how to make AI beneficial to humans, to work more effectively and productively. Those are the companies that are really going to win in the end, right?
Well, to your point, in multiple places, one is, part of it is that to this day, I think, and I've always thought there's a lot of things we measure that are just either the wrong things to measure, or being given substantially more importance than they deserve. And then there are things we don't measure that literally are not equated in. So, for example, one of the things on the simplest level, even it's not AI driven at all, is Brent and I were just talking about this morning, actually. When we do our conference, the first thing we tell any sponsor is, this isn't demand gen, right? Now, this is a thought leadership conference. It's a gathering of the community, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the problem that vendors always have with that, not all of them, they know us well enough, but the problem vendors typically have with that is, oh, well, it's not demand gen. I can't support it because there's no numbers that I can possibly associate with its success or failure, rather than see the actual impact on behavior that impacts future customers, alliance partners, influencers, et cetera, et cetera. They don't get it and they don't measure it. And to me, I think, I would imagine we all agree, to me, that's a crime. And that's number one. And, number two is, when it boils down to it, and it goes right to your point, human beings are social beings, and they need human contact. And you know what, to me, look, at one level or another, and John Reed, you'll have to help me with the phrase you gave me that fixed it, because some reason I'm blocking it. But when I look at agents, for example, agentic agents, when I look at agents, I look at them as microservices in action, right? They're still microservices, but microservices are just exactly what they sound like, services, right? They help people. They're not humans. They're not something replacing humans to act like a human doing something else. These are services that support human activity one way or the other. And John, I had an initial phrase for it. I think I called them self-learning, and John actually had a better term for it, but I'm blocking the term. John, if you're still around, if you remember the term you gave it, please put it in the comments. But, just because we call them agents doesn't make them any different than the microservices that they represent. They do stuff, right? And they do stuff on behalf of humans when it's done right, right? And that's as simple as that to me.
Yeah, and I look at it's I believe those are really, that's the key to AI is making humans more effective and efficient. Not about replacing them, right? It's not about, it's about building true AI assistants that help humans do their job better at the end of the day, right? And yes, there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of angst and over AI and will I lose my job? But I think that's really been created by this hype of, and then you hear these things. Oh, we laid off 4,000 people because bots could replace them. Well, the reality is that's a rare case. But I think if everybody would just take a step back and figure out how do we approach this in a different way, and really truly look at use cases that help people, and not about replacing jobs. But unfortunately, corporations are always, it's about the bottom line at the end of the day, right?
They're scared to think of anything else.
Isn't that the initial driver of any new technology adoption, is to help us do the same thing but cheaper and more efficiently?
It is.
And the irony is, when you think about how I say Bob or Brent, how you, all three of us, use the Gen AIs, it's for exactly that.
I know I use it to process all these hours of video. I mean, I couldn't do it without certain tools, I mean, that's just the way it is.
You think about the amounts of data that it's capable of handling right? And sorting through that data and coming out with the right answers. Not always, but I would say 75% of the time, it's pretty accurate, right? Mm-hmm. But you think of what it would take for humans to do that, right? And the thing for me that I really find with AI more than anything is the immediacy of being able to have answers, right? And not have to spend hours and hours and hours of piling through statistics and data and having the machine do it, right? It just makes it so much easier, right? I mean, I've gotten to the point where I don't think I need a doctor anymore. I just use AI. Actually, I find it to be more efficient than my doctor, to actually be quite honest, because at least I get realistic answers and not some freaking run-of-the-mill answer, right? Like if you ever took all your lab work and just feed it in and watch the analysis that comes back and then compare it to what your doctor told you, it's interesting, right? Because you actually understand it for once, right?
It makes it easy to understand, but are there answers any different?
Yeah, I would say the answers are different in the fact that the answers are more fact-based, because it's based on data and not what a doctor has, which is that human sort of bias they put into things too, right? Yeah, I've seen 20,000 patients. Yeah, you got nothing to worry about, right?
You're at stage 5. You have nothing to worry about.
So look, I do think, I just think our whole industry needs to take a chill pill, and people need to stop the hype and get down to the seriousness of how do you really take this stuff and really make it so that companies, humans, everybody can be effective and efficient with it at the end of the day, right? I mean, look, I just have to say, I mean, it's made my life a ton easier.
Me too.
Right.
Daily.
Just from a day-to-day perspective, the stuff that I can get done that used to take me forever. I'm not a very organized person, never have been. And I have to say, the ability of AI to help me to stay organized is pretty amazing, right? And I've been working with a lot of startups in the AI space. And one of the ones that I work with is this company called AskDonna.com. And what they've built is exactly what AI should be built for, to help a human to do their job better, right? To spend less time on admin, to spend less time doing repetitive bullshit tasks, but really being able to do, like for salespeople, doing what they should be spending 90% of their time doing, selling. And I think it's companies that understand that and that can really start to build software that helps people, right? And not trying to replace jobs, but trying to make people better in their jobs, right? And I think the other problem we have with AI is I talked about this before, which was, I think in the US, our education system has failed kids miserably over the last decades. And we haven't taught kids how to critically think, because I think one of the most important things in dealing with AI is critical thinking, right? It's not just about asking dumb questions to a machine at the end of the day, right? You actually have to think about this stuff, and and it's how you put it to the machine, right? Yeah. And I think critical thinking is something that I think we're really missing, and I think if we don't, in the US, if we don't get our act together and start teaching kids how to think critically, and at a young age, how to use machine learning the right way, not the wrong way. It's not a freaking search engine. And that's the problem, because a lot of people and a lot of kids equate it to a search engine at the end of the day, right? But I do think there's so many great things that can be done with this technology, and I just think that it's I mean, like I said, I think it's amazing, and I think in the enterprise software space, we're just in the infancy, and I think until people get rid of these 20-year-old freaking platforms that they keep trying to ramrod this stuff into, it's and excuses, right? Well, the data is not. Look, if AI is a technology that doesn't need to have organized data at the end of the day. It just needs to know where to go find it. And this is where you come to this whole federated model thing, right? Which is if you don't have agents that can be federated, that can go into anywhere to get the data and bring it back, then you're always going to have this problem, because then you're going to have vendors who say, oh, you need my data cloud for your stuff to actually work, right? This is going to be the hindrance to the adoption, because companies are going to think they have to go and put their data in one place, or have to go buy this or go buy that. But the reality is there is nothing limiting the technology to go out and get that data, right? It's self-imposed limitations that vendors are actually doing, right? Because they don't have the they haven't built the technological capability to be able to do federated agents, to be able to go out there and grab the data from anywhere, right? And not bring the data and store it, but just to go out and get what they need to do that particular task, right?
Thank you.
And I think this is really where I think this whole model is just falling down, because it's just not happening.
Yesterday we do these weekly happy hours, and Jeff Risher is one of the folks. By the way, Paul, he was back yesterday on.
Yeah, I know he had sent a note about coming back.
So he's a professor. I forget exactly what school, but he's a college professor. And we were having this same conversation yesterday on the happy hour that you just talked about how to, because I forget what study just came out where Gen Z, it made it sound like Gen Z is not as excited about AI as we would expect them to be. And they're actually worried about where are they going to work after they get their degrees, more so than anything else. So it definitely feels like maybe partially on them, but also partially on just the way things are. Because we all know a lot of people like to use these tools for a quick answer, like you were saying, for the easy, write me a 300 poem or something like that. 300 word. Yeah, okay, that doesn't really do a whole lot outside of, those are like, I call them the parlor trick kind of stuff. But what you're talking about, things that are actually can be done that can be helpful right away. It just feels like a lot of the things, the meat and potato stuff that can really make a huge difference, gets blindsided by all this pie in the sky talk about, oh, you can make 10,000 new images with a blink of an eye. And yeah, okay, so you can do that, but why would I want to do that? I mean, why is that very important? Where stuff that you're talking about, the kind of the behind the scenes, the things that make stuff work, those are really important, but apparently they're not exciting enough to get people's attention. So
that's the problem.
They never are.
Yeah,
but that's history. And the things that actually get the stuff done isn't exciting. It's not cool. Well, I mean, look, I'll give you an example of, just quickly, because I know where you have to wrap, but remember when the iPhone first came out, and that there were lines all the way outside of Apple stores and people would camp out for like 3 days, right? And now it's a phone and a camera, and nobody cares. But guess what? That's actually good, not bad, right? People use it because that's what you do with it. Right now, it's not just an old-fashioned phone, but it does all the other things. But that's what you do with it. It's not exciting. It just is. And the reality is, the is part is what actually is when things are getting done, right? It's when you get to that point. Not, whoa, that is the coolest thing, I got to have it. It's okay. This is functionally what it does. I needed to do it. And I want it for that reason. And yeah, it looks pretty cool too. I like the look. I'll get that one over that one because it looks cooler, but it does the same thing, right? But you don't wait 3 days outside the store anymore, right? And it's a way, and I'll leave it at this, the way we're all using Gen AI is exactly what I'm talking about, right? We know what it does. And what's exciting for us, because we're in the tech world, but we have a different lens, is that it does those things. Not that it certainly doesn't look cool. It's about as ugly as it could possibly get as far as it goes. It's a browser interface or an app interface. It's just, a box. So, this was great. I mean, I hope people start thinking about it.
And the Gen Z thing, I think is look, just put yourself in the shoes of a kid going to college right now who's studying computer science, and all they're hearing is how their job is going to go away with AI.
Yeah.
You just sunk, going to a good CS school, you just sunk $150,000, right? You may be 200,000 in debt by the time you finish. And here all you're reading about is how AI is going to replace you. And I think this is the fault of the schools. It's the fault of the media, because look, you still need those people to be trained engineers. You still need people to be, we're giving people these false impressions that AI is going to take their job. You still need people to write code at the end of the day. Now, can AI make that code better or put different spin on it? Absolutely, right? This is where you have to train people differently. And in college, we need to train people differently. Can't just teach them that same old bullshit, right? Which, you realize when you go into the real world that none of it means anything at the end of the day, right? Because developing commercial software is a whole nother animal than what you learn in school, right? And
you well know.
And so I do think it's always an interesting thing. But yeah, it's an interesting time we live in nowadays.
I just want to put this back up. Shout out to Pete Smith for he found, I guess, the study. But damn, Pete, we could barely see Bob's face because this comment is so long. So I'm going to take it off. See his face again. Man, this is the best way to start out a No BS Thursday episode, man. This was awesome. Bob, thanks again for doing this. And I know people are going to appreciate all the no spin, no BS, straight shooting stuff that's coming out of this thing.
So everybody out there, second Thursday of the month, 3 p.m., 3:30, Bob will come on, 3:30 p.m., No BS with Bob Stutz. Just keep coming, because I know you. I mean, people got pretty excited about coming. We saw that already.
Yeah,
and what the interaction was substantial there.
Awesome,
great.
Yeah, you got.
I've been taking a long break from public speaking.
That's all right. You're back, man. That's all I know. You're back.
He's back only because the Bills are winning again.
Yeah, that's right. If it was 5-9, maybe we wouldn't be seeing you. 4-9, we wouldn't see you here.
Hey, look, I'm rooting for you guys, man. I want you to beat the Patriots this Sunday.
I would love it. Oh, that would be so good. That's the one thing I know. Even though each of us has a different team we root for, we're united in common hatred of the Patriots.
There are a lot of Patriots haters all around the world.
Totally hate them, and will continue to forever.
Right. I know, but the reason we hated the Patriots so much was because of one person.
Yeah, you're right. Well, no, I actually had two for me. Two.
They both, their last names both start with B.
Yes, that was the real reason. It's hard to hate. What's his name? What's his name? The quarterback, Mays.
Oh, you mean Drake May?
Drake Mays.
Yeah,
the new quarterback.
I don't really hate anybody there now.
No, the coach is actually really good
maybe
coach.
Stephon Diggs, because he,
just kind of a general jackass and does really bad.
I just keep counting the days until he gets thrown off that team too.
It's coming.
Yeah, he's done it about 4 other stops. So yeah, you're right.
Bring back Andre Reiser.
All right. Well, on behalf of Bob Stutz, thanks again. I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Players, and as usual, we got to say hello to Minnie before we can say goodbye to you guys.
All right, Minnie. Hopefully, we'll be seeing you at IRL 2026 in some way.
All right. See you guys.